Hello everyone and welcome to WhatCulture Gaming. My name is Jules Gill and I am joined by the man who I will never, ever give the hard reboot to, Scott Tailford.
Hello.
See, it was nice because I'd never get rid of you.
What if I need it? What if I need to
No,
be
you're
brought
not,
back?
you're not broken enough.
Better
That's
than ever.
absolutely fine. But
Too big, this.
Today we are here on a lovely Saturday to talk to you guys about some great spicy gaming meat that has fallen off the deli tray of life and into our laps because we are talking about Bioware's Anthem. Now, there is a thing that I need to say.
Go on.
In the wrestling world at this moment, AEW, All Elite Wrestling, has decided that at the beginning of 2020, they're going to reset all of their records so that it basically means that they're going to keep it fair and competitive and make sure that no one has a ridiculous win-loss ratio and stuff like that. So it makes sense as the company evolves.
If my boy Kenny Omega gets to keep being the top dog.
If he comes out in the Sans Undertale mask again,
I'll take it.
But still, they might have, Bioware might have been looking at this and thinking, that seems really good. Let's just do that with Bioware as a whole, because the reports are today that Bioware's not going to just get a new coat of paint. It's going to be completely rebooted and restarted from the ground up.
Bioware, I think you mean Anthem.
Yes.
BioWare's not being rebooted.
No,
although they probably wish they were.
No, but Bioware looked at it and then thought, oh yeah, we need to reboot Anthem. Yeah.
The whole thing's happening with Anthem. Obviously, one of the biggest train wrecks of 2019. God bless them. I mean, the thing is with Anthem, the gunplay is pretty stellar. The flight mechanics are brilliant. But the overall structure of it was pretty terrible. And as soon as Kotaku did their big deep dive earlier in the year as to why that was, it was all made pretty clear that they just didn't have a through-line vision for it. And there was a whole bunch of tumultuous stuff with the staff that were working on it.
We also need to explore the fact that once Kotaku put out that deep dive, the supposed roadmap that was in place at that time mysteriously got scrapped. And it's almost like they looked at that and just were like, yep, they found out, boys, that we ain't actually going to do any of this stuff, are we?
They eventually put something out called the Cataclysm event, because Anthem's numbers are weird. It obviously still does have a dedicated player base. Enough for EA to grant Bioware the new story that we're going to talk about, which is Anthem getting this sort of kind of soft reboot. The thing is, right now, it's being referred to internally as Anthem Next. It's something that has been written up again by Kotaku, Mr. Jason Schreier, talked to a bunch of Bioware staff members anonymously, and they sort of let on that they are considering, or they are working on this complete overhaul of Anthem. And that both of the Bioware teams, I think Edmonton and I forget the other one is, are working on kind of overhauling Anthem, which is weird considering it only came out in February. That already it's so on fire that they just need to go, okay, let's just re-release this again and try again.
I don't think I've ever seen, this is the weirdest thing about the current state of gaming and the fact that you can update your games on the fly, you can change how they are. But apart from the Final Fantasy game that rebooted itself completely, I can't think of another game that was so unsure of itself that they were just like, no, let's just do it again.
The newest thing would be No Man's Sky, but they just kept plugging stuff into it. I mean,
they didn't change the core experience. They just made it better. Whereas this one and the Final Fantasy example, they were just like, look, let's just do over.
So in this thing, they've said that in terms of the nomenclature and what Anthem is, it's javelin suits and flying around and loot and shooting people and whatever, all that stuff stays intact. But the way that they referred to this next game, a choice quote is that they probably won't charge for existing players, which means that you've kind of just bought a £60, $60 beta or an early access game.
This is what we were
that
talking
then just
about
goes away.
With games as service. This is the biggest problem because there is no way of saying when's the game finished is finished sort of thing. Now it's just that players are just going, oh cool, thank you for letting me purchase this at full price and give you money to do what with?
Yeah, I paid you for some market research.
I love the fact that the quote was probably wouldn't charge.
Yeah, I mean
that's right. I didn't know that. That's disgusting. If you bought a game and they turn around and just go right, we're going to redo the event and we're going to ask for. Can you just give us 20?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of bus fare.
Yeah.
Come on, man. EA's pockets are bloody deep enough.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, all this stuff is preliminary right now. It's obviously part of the ongoing conversation, but there is this overall mandate within Bioware to overhaul Anthem, and right now it's being internally referred to as Anthem Next. And there is this. It is going to be, or again, it's being thought of as a brand new game, and it probably won't charge existing players to play it. I think because it's EA, it almost definitely will be that. It'll be Anthem : something else.
And it will be like an Anthem to 1.5.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It depends how much they want Anthem to be the platform that you just plug stuff into. But in terms of the way that they're talking about it, obviously Anthem does need some considerable work. Like you said, the roadmap, the way that they've rolled stuff out this year has been nothing short of a complete mess. mess. Like, I mean, if it wasn't for Fallout 76, Anthem would be the biggest mess of the year.
Yeah, which is sad to say.
Yeah, and it's especially from such veteran developers.
Just to be very, very clear on this, it's not like we enjoy watching the failure of other things. Like, there are still people who enjoy this game, and you have every right to enjoy whatever games that you like, but it's just a bit of a shady practice to have developers that are put into this position of like, oh, we can change anything on the fly, and they still get it wrong.
Yeah, the flip side to that is that like they got something out the door. It's weird if you read the deep dive, the one from earlier in the year. The reality of that game was that it barely came together. They lost their managerial staff. They lost the people who had the through-line vision.
Yeah, they had no creative sort of direction.
Yeah, so all those people went away. They had someone come in and get it over the finish line, but that's what you got. You got something that limped over the finish line.
Yeah.
And now the flip side to like going back and rebooting it for a price is that they assumedly have gone back, sat down, and realized what they actually want to do with it.
Yeah.
And now that's what you're getting. But it does mean that the whole of this year was just a waste of time, other than them gathering data.
I also worry as well, because if they come in with this reboot, I imagine that there are players out there who have racked up hundreds of hours in this game. Like, you might find something that you want to enjoy with your friends. If it comes in, is this going to reset all of their loot? It's going to reset all of their any leaderboards or like stat progression.
I don't know. Like so some of the stuff that they've talked about, the things that they're going to implement, they want to do multiple maps instead of one giant map, because they said that in regards to iterating on bugs and different features, they can test them in smaller spaces rather than breaking the whole thing, which is a good idea. They're aware of how the entire structure needs to be changed, and they want to change how much you go back to Fort Tarsus, which is the central place where you take your missions.
Yeah, because
let you stay out for longer.
It just needs to be something you can access on the fly, because like having to go back to an area, experience a loading screen, to walk up to somebody, to press A, to just get a new bounty board mission, to then go back out and it's just like, oh.
I think with that, I think they can see the potential for just like taking a handful of missions, going out and enjoying the combat, enjoying flying around, get rid of that stupid coolant thing that means you can't fly for very long, and just enjoy like the combat in Anthem, like Mass Effect Andromeda, is so solid.
Yeah.
And like it's really, really good. It's the best thing in there. I mean, I would stick up for most of the world building too.
You just want to get into combat as quickly and efficiently as possible.
Yeah.
Because when you're actually in the firefights, it is actually a lot of fun.
And
but it's just like the A to B, it's just like... Oh.
Yeah, and a whole ton of like Anthem's conception, at least at the very beginning, or maybe in terms of the optics of it on the gamer side of it, was that it was a third-person Destiny.
Yeah.
Reading, again, that earlier Kotaku report, apparently the staff were not even allowed to mention the word Destiny when they were developing it, but Anthem is very much a third-person Destiny.
Yeah.
And if they focus on the combat, the rollout, the mission structures, it can be a fun third-person Destiny-style thing. But yeah, basically the quote from them is that they want to overhaul the gameplay systems that most players have agreed don't work, which will assumedly be the coolant stuff, the mission structures, the go here, guard this space, move over, guard this next space. Like the actual mission design was so boring in Anthem.
So these quotes, are they coming directly from the Bioware people, or is it coming from the deep dive is it coming from the latest reports from Kotaku?
Yeah, so it's all written up by Jason Schreier. So some of it, some of it is his words, some of it is interpreted, some of it is direct quotes, but it's all part of the same report.
Because the reason I was getting a bit just sort of was just thinking about that a second is it definitely seems that there's a lack of responsibility being taken. It seems like it's just like it's the players that didn't like it. It's the children's fault. Am I wrong? No, the children are the ones that are wrong. You know what I mean?
That more as just like a general mandate in regards to like we are listening
to
players.
But that's fine if it's a thing that's taken out of context. And that, I mean, that's absolutely fine.
At this stage, I think that they're in full-on damage control. It's weird though, because when I read this, I wasn't happy that they're getting another shot at it, because reading again that first report is so illuminating as to how much they didn't even really want to do this.
Just leave it and move on to the next one. Like start. I know it's a bit stupid in a sense, but just start working on Anthem 2. Just go like, look, fine. Turn it into a free-to-play model. Just enjoy the time that you got with it, and let's just start making Anthem 2
that
better.
Might end up being what this is. Like in terms of Anthem Next becomes the next sequel. But for me, like I'm glad that the thing is like I said, reading that old report, they like loads of their developers talked about how they have no experience with military games and like guns and a variety of guns and things like that. Yeah. All their their skills, all the things that they specialize in are fantasy and like Jade Empire, Mass Effect, things like that. It's Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic.
But it's indicative of the EA issue. They buy up companies, or they work in collaboration with companies like Criterion and others as well, and they take the core essence of what they're good at and they inhibit them and don't allow them to do it. Yeah. And I've never really understood that, because it's like Criterion came back to do the vehicle missions for Star Wars Battlefront 2, correct?
Yeah.
I believe That's what happened.
Sure, they were involved in.
They were allowed to work on like one vehicle section or of a game, but that's the only thing that they've been doing. And this is coming from the developers of Burnout, who know how to do speed and chaos and stuff like that. So why not just sort of like get them involved in something that allows it? And why not get Bioware involved in something that allows them to do it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, what would you want from a modern day Bioware? And I'd want something more like that Greedfall game that just came out, or something like Outer Worlds reminds you of how immaculate Western RPGs used to be. And this generation has been a barren wasteland in regards to recommendable Western RPGs, other than The Witcher 3.
Honestly, though, when you're looking at the Outer Worlds and you're looking at sort of what's going on with like Fallout 76 and with like with Anthem as well, you're just looking at it and just going like, sci-fi can be done, and people are like, well, this is just a game from 2013, and you go, yes, because at that point that's what we wanted. Bring it back, dial it back. No games as service, no absolutely crappy microtransactions put in. Like, you can still loot and shoot, you can accept all your missions and then not have to. I
loved on Yahtzee Kuroshaw for Zero Punctuation said that he realizes that in the modern industry, the modern generation, there are two types of games. Games that either take you on a progression path and enlighten you and give you give you evocative mechanics and interactions over time, or games that give you everything in the first 20 minutes and only numb you for the next couple of hundred hours. And that numbing sensibility, that word numbing, is the thing that I think applies to so many platforms for content, where you're just doing the same thing over and over and over again.
I know people who literally just log in to check to see their daily rewards, and they go, I don't even know what I'd do even if I got the thing I wanted.
It's this weird
routine. It's just become like that's when addiction becomes a sort of like a tagline for it, because you are just you're going through the motions with the game so much that you're just like, oh, it's a bad habit.
Yeah.
What is a bad habit other than an addiction?
Yeah, or a waste of time in some cases. But it's like so many people just treat them as like podcast games, which I'm for. But I think if it is just this numbing, like, I'm just going through the motions, that's what Anthem needs to get the hell away from.
But this concept of wasting of time brings us back to Anthem, which is, I feel like if they do this thing, if they step it up to the next level and they do make improvements, which I am hoping that they do. I don't want to see something fail, because there is a great idea there.
Yeah.
It feels like it's been wasting a lot of people's time. And especially if they are going to fundamentally change the way that the multiplayer works, then it means that they are changing the core experience for the few people that do like it still. Like, it's
weird. I mean, you can't, as I said, you can't get away from the fact that the Anthem's first rollout has been a massive disaster. It's given them a ton of data to work with. And on the EA side, I mean, it was EA that told Bioware to use the Frostbite engine. That wasn't something that they necessarily wanted to do. It was why Anthem had a whole bunch of bugs and issues and problems, but that was as much as like EA sort of got their tendrils in. But in terms of the rollout this year, the only positive from Anthem is that it still sold and made a bunch of money. And the actual like optics of it and the reception was way more negative.
Yeah, but that's more of a credit to the marketing team.
Yeah,
like
and Bioware's legacy.
Like when you make a trailer that makes it look like it's the best thing in the world, and you shadow drop it without giving people access to review copies early, which they did, by the way, then of course you're controlling the message into getting as many sales as possible.
And that's what I'm saying on the publisher side. For as much as EA like prioritize money quite a lot, and that's especially what their reputation is, they still made a ton of bank on Anthem. And I have to imagine that they've now allowed Bioware to go back and do this reboot thing because they know it'll make money.
It's almost like you see it like ticking over like a little dotted line. It goes, and we've made all of our money back and a little bit more gone. Then you can actually make the game and fix it properly.
And I think that in regards to that, I think that if they can make it a nice, like, fun third person, like Warframe adjacent experience where you're taking missions as a group, as a team, working together. There's great flight mechanics and the actual shooting is really meaty and fun. That's great. I just think that for me, it's Bioware, and considering their legacy from Jade Empire to Mass Effect to KOTOR or whatever, I'd rather they did literally anything else.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Whatever.
But there we go. Those are our thoughts on the current state of Anthem. Let us know what you think down below about how you feel about this potential new reboot or soft reboot that is potentially coming. Are you excited about this? Will it make you return to Anthem, or are you completely done with this now? Which I wouldn't even blame you if you were. But let us know down below, please and thank you. As always, I've been Jules. You can go follow me at RetroJ with a 0 over on Twitter. You can follow Scott at
@/LP89.
You are damn right you can. I hope that you have a fantastic day, whatever you are getting up to, my friends. Go out there and absolutely smash it. And we'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye.